What is a registered agent, and does your wedding business need one? Find out today's video. Hey out there, welcome back to Wedding Industry Law. My name is Rob. I am an attorney representing wedding and event industry professionals, and I make videos on how wedding professionals can keep it legal in today's world. And in this video, we're talking about registered agents. What are they? Do you need one? Do they provide you with any benefit? So the short answer is going to be that it depends. But first of all, what is a registered agent? A registered agent is going to be a person or a company that a business assigns, that the business nominates to receive service. Service is just a legal term for official documents. So it's essentially someone that is going to stand there like the Buckingham Palace guards and receive either official mail or official process like letters from the government, but mostly it's receiving lawsuit documents related to litigation. So oftentimes, in order to officially kick off a lawsuit, there's a checklist of things that need to happen, that somebody that's in an official capacity gives the official documents to someone that has official capacity to receive those documents on behalf of the defendant. So that's kind of the purpose of the registered agent. It's somebody that is held out to the public as, hey, I'm here. It's okay for you to hand me the important documents for Miss Johnson. She's not going to say that she didn't get them. If you give them to me, it's just like giving them to her. That's the essential gist of what a registered agent is. But I guess the question is, do you need one? I mean, you're sitting there scratching your head going, well, I mean, I'm walking around, they can hand me stuff, or I've got a mailbox, that's good, who cares? Like, what am I required to have one? And the short answer is probably. So most of you out there that are wedding professionals are operating under some type of business formation like LLC, LLP, corporations, some type of form that has to be registered with the government, typically the Secretary of State of the state that you're in. And when you have an LLC or a corporation like that, and you register with the Secretary of State, typically it's required that you notify the state of who the registered agent is. So now you have to have one, in other words. So not only do you have to have one, you announce to the world through the Secretary of State who the registered agent is. So if you're sitting there going, well, Rob, I have an LLC, I have a corporation, and I don't know who my registered agent is. If you filled out that paperwork yourself, you might have skipped over that and put yourself as the registered agent. But most of the time, if you are in have one of those forms of businesses, being LLC or a corporation, you have to have one. In fact, you're typically going to need to have a registered agent wherever you do business if you are an LLC or a corporation. So even though you might be, your LLC might have been formed in Iowa, if you do business in Montana, then likely you are going to have a registered agent in Montana that is able to receive service for you. So that's kind of the short answer to that. If you are, unless you're a sole proprietor, and I don't want to even speak to that, because in some jurisdictions it's possible that even sole proprietors have to designate some type of a registered agent. Although typically when you're a sole proprietor, it's you, and if they can find you, they can serve you. If they can't find you, they don't serve you. But anyway, now the next question is going to be, if you're an LLC, can you, as the owner, the member owner of the LLC, or perhaps the majority shareholder or the only owner of a corporation, can you be lawfully the registered agent? And typically, yes, you could. There are only very few requirements to being a registered agent. And typically, and again, the states are all different, but typically it's going to be, you have to actually have a physical presence somewhere. So you can't be a registered, you physically, personally, like you, literally you watching this, you can't be a registered agent for a company that's in Alaska when you're in Hawaii, for example, like you literally will need to have some type of physical presence with a physical address, typically a PO box or one of those, I don't even know what they're called, Kinko's, FedEx, mailboxes. Those typically won't work. It'll have to be a location in which a physical person, usually the sheriff, the marshal, some type of law enforcement, whoever is authorized to deliver the service or serve process, has to be able to open some doors, tring, tring, and talk to somebody and go, hey, are you the guy? Are you the lady? Here's the documents, right? It has to be something like that. It can't be like, well, I'm going to leave the documents with Ted, right? So physical presence typically is required to be a registered agent. So if you don't fit that requirement, then you might not be able to be the registered agent. So the next thing is like, well, Rob, I want to be the registered agent. Is it my house is the address? Is it the company's address? Typically, it's going to be wherever you can be served. It's a physical location. It's not really going to matter. I will say this, that in instances in which I'm suing somebody or I'm suing a company, I'm typically going to, suggest to you that it be somewhere where you feel comfortable getting served with papers. Like, in other words, if you have a wedding planning business, for example, and that has a physical address, you've got a home address, but maybe you've got a 9-to-5 that you also do. You might not want to list your address as the 9-to-5 address, even though you're there all the time, because you might not want your coworkers in your main job seeing that you got served by, the sheriff. They're going to go, oh, what did you get served for? So you're going to either want to make it actually you're going to want to make it that's something to consider, that it's wherever you have a physical presence that you can receive service that you might not want to be embarrassed getting service for or service at. So that's some considerations for whether or not you should be your own registered agent. But if you don't want to be your own registered agent, who can be a registered agent for you? So there are services out there. There are a lot of services out there that will be, you pay money and they will function as your registered agent. So in other words, like if you can imagine, there's like an office, physical office somewhere in a state, and it's a company, let's just call it, Service Receivers Incorporated. So Service Receivers Incorporated is your registered agent. They have a physical address. And so if somebody sues you, they're going to walk into Service Receivers Incorporated's office and hand them the documents, not you, right? So that's how it works. And they make their money by, hopefully they have, 1,000 companies that they're registered agent for. And every day they'll receive documents and they put them in the proper mailboxes and they alert the appropriate companies that they're registered agents for that, hey, you got served with a lawsuit today, here's the documents or whatever. So there are professionals, companies that actually do that for you for a fee. Typically, it's not too expensive. I want to say that it's less than a couple $100s a year, but I could be wrong about that. But it shouldn't be. Don't be paying more than that. Another option for you is your attorney. Sometimes your attorney that forms your company, those type of attorneys typically will also serve as your registered agent. They want that constant contact with you so they can continue to sell services to you. So sometimes that's just a benefit of paying an attorney to incorporate your business or to form your LLC, is that they'll be your registered agent too. But sometimes they'll charge you money for it, but it's a nominal amount. And then again, it's the same process. Instead of the sheriff going to you to serve your company with a lawsuit or whatever the document is, they're going to go to your attorney's office. And that's a very, very commonplace. Actually, both are commonplace. Having a company paying a company to be your registered agent, as well as having an attorney be your registered agent, are very commonplace in the quote unquote corporate world. So I hope that you found this video informative. If you did, please be sure to like and subscribe. Again, new videos out every week. If you have a suggestion for something that you want me to talk about, please be sure to let me know in the comments below. And with that, folks, we'll see you next time.